Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is gonna be a long one, I think. And before I start, please help me bombard the like button. Use whatever missiles you have, bombard the like button. And also before I start, I want to rant about something. This, remember around 30 days, or around 30 days ago, remember, a lot of Ukrainian analysts, or pro-Ukrainian crowd, claiming that the Russians are going to run out of missiles. Yeah, I'm really pissed about it because until today, we are still seeing, a lot of missile strikes, and in fact, the missile strikes are actually intensifying. So I just want to rant about this. It's really stupid to think that the Russians will run out of missiles in just 2 weeks. So anyway. Okay, finished ranting. So let's go to the summary of day 53 and 54. So yesterday I did not do a summary because I went for my booster shot, my COVID-19 booster shot. So hopefully I'm now in a clear-minded position to actually report. So a lot of things have happened. So let's go with the simplest one. There is a report of a delivery of 10 times Bayraktar TB2. From Turkey to Ukraine. So the delivery was detected from the flight. There's all this flight radar, right? Flight monitoring. So they saw this flight flying to this city called Rezor, and then after that, residents actually took photos or reported that there is a large column of humanitarian aid going from Poland to Lviv. So so according to the Russian analysts, they calculated around 10 UAVs are delivered, and then they assessed that 3 will be used in the Mykolaiv front. So so this is a thing. So we're gonna see more TB2 coming to the front line, but you can see the distance is rather far, so it's gonna take some time before you will reach the front, unless they are able to fly from here to here, which I don't think that is quite wise. So, missile strikes. The Russians have struck the train station at Lviv. So, I'm not sure which is the exact train station they hit, because you can see there's one here, there's one here, there's one here. So, I'm just going to leave it here. And it's not just one missile. It's actually multiple missiles. Let me see what I can show you. It's actually quite an interesting footage. So this is from a residential apartment where they overlooking, and you can see the first strike hits, and so I was looking at people trying to see if anyone panicking. No, everybody is just continuing life as per normal. Very dirty back street here. Someone need to do about that. And a totally empty building, which you see, real estate investment sometimes doesn't pay off. So the birds are excited. And now check this out. Oh, there's another strike over on the other side. So she's this person is showing us. And here comes. Meow. Okay, so another explosion, and then let's jump. I think there's another one coming. I watched this once, so I was quite fascinated by how well and sharp this video is, and how clear we can see the bombardment of these cruise missiles. Come on. Here it comes. So what astounds me is the accuracy. They decided to hit. So according to the caption for this video, they think this is actually a depot, a weapons depot. See, you can see that it's a residential house. But the depot could actually be by the side of the train station. So it could be actually hitting the train station as well as hitting the storage. So we are not so sure. The target is actually foreign supplied weaponry and equipment. So I wonder what they hit, and that's probably a few $100 million down the drain again, as usual. And this is a day in day out thing, but I just find that interesting to show you. So moving on to, let's say, go to Mykolaiv Front. So on the Mykolaiv Front, the Russians have captured Novopetrivka. However, the pro-Ukrainian analysts corrected themselves and say that maybe this position had never been lost by the Russians, and that like just made me so confused, because the Ukrainians were celebrating the capture of Snihurivka, and then from there they actually proceeded south down the road and attacked Alexandrivka, but the attack failed, and then the Russians counterattacked and retook Snihurivka. Previously, if you have followed me for at least 3 weeks, you'll probably know that there is actually a forward operating base around here earlier in the war, maybe around 2-3 weeks ago, where there's an entrenchment around here as part of the 3 entrenchment, one here on the west of Bashtenka, there's one here, and there's one here. So this one is still here. So this, I have no idea whether this is actually a capture or they were never there. So according to this Russian analyst report, they say that the front line at the moment is located at Novopetrivka. So it's clearly evidence. So this is how they assess, by the plea of the locals to their mayor, Vitaly Kim, who is rather famous, taking videos, selfie videos of himself smiling and joking about everything is okay. So which then might semi-corroborates that this position might still actually in Russian possession. So similarly, in terms of the one at this area at Kashpero Mykolevka, the only reason I removed it was because there was there's no action for a very long time, and it's really far away from the front line. So I decided to remove it, and I removed the one here because of the fall of Snihurivka for quite some time as well. So not sure if this the one at Kashpero Mykolaievka suddenly will appear again. I have no idea. So this is the fog of war. We just have to live with whatever information we get. So, but the reappearance of this location, which I will later convert this into a entrenchment like this, might suggest that the one at Halisinov is actually still around as well, because I have never seen Ukrainians report that they have captured this location, and this is actually quite significant because the Russians actually used the cover of this forest here and use this as a bombardment base against Mykolaiv. So I read that Mykolaiv got bombarded quite heavily over the past 24 hours, but I have nothing significant to report about that because bombardment happens every day. And so there's no other change in terms of the south of Kharkiv Ray. So moving on to the Zaporizhzhia Line, all the way on the eastern side of the Kharkiv Ray front. So I will not explain what is Zaporizhzhia Line again. You can go and check out the quick update for this Zaporizhzhia Line update, which I posted around 12 hours ago. So the Russians have started an offensive at around the Huyaipo area. So they have captured or rather recaptured Melanivka, which is actually a very tiny village here. You can see this is actually a very tiny village. And the Ukrainians reported that the Russians are actually attacking Polohi. But that is kind of a contradiction to my information that I have, because I have never registered the Ukrainians able to recapture Polohi. And there is this video that I saw, I'm not sure it's on Telegram or on Twitter. I think it's Telegram. That there is a video of the I think from the Russian sources, they show the destruction of the bomb from the bombardment by the Ukrainians on civilian buildings, and that suggests that Polohi is actually in Russian hands. So this attack or this fighting might actually be a Ukrainian attack rather than a Russian offense. So I just going to leave it as blue because I'm not intending to change my front line so easily because of some half-hearted intel. So we're going to leave this here, and we'll see what happens, whether the Russian side or the Ukrainian side reports anything about Polohi or Minor or Sheriffne or all these locations around here. But as far as my understanding, these are locations that are reportedly captured. Sheriffne, Minor, Stepov, all these are, we have information that they are captured by the Russians. So that's why these are firm front lines, and unless there is actually clear indications, I'm not going to move the border. So that's the Zaporizhzhia line. And so let's go to Mariupol then. So Mariupol, in the previous summary I mentioned, based on the source on Twitter, that the Russians are launching a special operation within the special operation to rescue some hostages in a mosque in Mariupol. So this is the mosque, Masjid Suleimana Roxolani. Actually, I have no idea how to pronounce this, so yeah, sorry for slaughtering the name. And this information was corroborated by the Defense Ministry of Russia 2 days ago, on the 17th, that they said that this special operation within this special operation is by the request of Erdogan. So what happened was that I went to search a bit more because of one of the YouTube comments asking me for a source for about, is there any other information about this, beyond something that's coming from the Ministry of Defense. So I found out that the source of the reason why is that there is this special operation within the special operation was that the Azov, or the defenders around here, claim that they have a lot of civilians seeking refuge at the mosque, and then they say that the Russians are bombarding and shelling the mosque, and they are crying out for humanitarian aids and whatnot, saying that the Russians are killing civilians or whatever, and then they need all these civilians are so poor thing, they need to be rescued and whatever, and then probably that alerted Erdogan, because I'm sure Erdogan also don't know what the hell is happening in Ukraine. So Erdogan, since they are still in very good relationship with Russia, they actually requested Russia to help to free the hostages, and as a result, the Russian forces went to fulfill what the Ukrainian forces wanted, to save the civilians, and then they freed the hostages, or freed the victims of Russian aggression, and due to this selfless dog-ear action of the Russian special force, so probably these are Spetsnaz, or anti-terror units, they killed all of the militants, or rather Ukrainian soldiers, including foreign mercenaries, and they killed all of them, all 29 of them, and they actually saved the civilians. There is no reports of civilians death due to this operation, and interestingly, there are citizens from one of the CIS countries, which I'm not sure which country. Some say is from Kyrgyzstan. I cannot remember, but it's not important. They are just human shields. So moving on to the Azovstal area, the Ukrainians have rejected the offer to surrender, partly because Kiev do not allow them to surrender, and they actually ordered reportedly from the Defense Ministry. So this can be actually propaganda or misinformation, that they are to shoot anyone who dared to surrender. So end up not a single soldier have surrendered. Zero, no soldiers. So according to the Defense Ministry of Russia, they actually reported there's now up to 400 foreign fighters within the defenders, the Ukrainian defenders in Azovstal. So they're calling out the European countries and Canada for sending people to be here, and they kind of corroborate it further, saying that because they captured video conversations in 6 different foreign languages. So they also warned that if they continue to resist, they'll be all killed. So then this came just a few hours ago, the Russians have decided to offer again to the the Ukrainian defenders at Azovstal to surrender again. So they say that this is due to humane principles. They decided to offer the fighters as well as the foreign mercenaries, again today from noon to cease fighting and give up and surrender, and they will be guaranteed not to be killed. So similarly, they're gonna have this timeline again, which I reported in the previous summary. 1 o'clock they will establish communication. 1:30 they are to cease fire. So the ceasefire will begin from the raising of flags, and then the Russian will raise red flag, the Ukrainians raise white flag, because white flag is surrender. And from 2 to 4 o'clock Moscow time, they are to leave the compound without weapons and ammunition on them. So the Russian Ministry of Defense also call on Kiev to give the right instruction, which is to tell their soldiers to surrender rather than fighting senselessly, because they're going to be killed. And I actually I'm not sure to agree or not to agree, depending on how you stand, but these people are going to die for nothing. It's not going to change much. They are just going to delay the redeployment of these forces to another front, and these people will just be sacrificed. So anyway, but of course the new notice will be very unwilling to give up, because they know there will be more than just POWs on the Russian hands. So moving on to the Donetsk Front. On the Donetsk Front, there's no change in the front line. Not much news from this area, except that there is a Sukhoi 25 from the Ukrainian side shot down over Avdiivka. Avdiivka is this stronghold, fortified stronghold of the Ukrainian forces. The Russians have not been able to penetrate at all for this city around here. But it's interesting to see, there is this ground attack aircraft flying around here, which is rather stupid if you ask me. So moving on to Luhansk Front, a huge breakthrough on Luhansk Front. The Russian forces have captured Crimea. Crimea is this town or small city just in the northwest of Severodonetsk. So this is actually like a choke point of sort, and the Russians have been fighting here for at least a week or more, and they were not able to penetrate through, or maybe they have been penetrating through, but we are not reported in the street to street fight like how Mariupol is being reported. So in the morning there was so I have other sources that I already saw, which is not this quote here, but they actually declared the victory over the capture of Crimea in the morning of, I think, yesterday. So this represents a huge defeat for the Ukrainians, because now they have another road to go south and cut off Severodonetsk from the resupply route. But of course they need to capture a few small villages like Dibrova, a very small village, and then they have to go through the forest, cross some very curly rivers, and then they can actually go into Seversk. So if they can capture Seversk, there is a railway line here. Who knows, they might actually able to use it to quickly resupply. But to resupply to Seversk, they first need to capture Dronivka, as well as Yampil, and as well as the current location where they are fighting, which is at Liman. So of course, there's more. Actually, there's a lot of towns and villages they still need to capture, because the railway line stretches across Ukrainian held territory. Yeah, so anyway, this entire line of railway tracks will be something that we should look out for, because if the Russians are able to capture all this territory, they can start to use railway and use train to transport forces here. And once they transport forces here, the resistance around this region will collapse rather quickly, because nobody want to get encircled. And once you get encircled, you get hungry, and then life sucks, and this game no longer feels fun to play. So that's the Luhansk Front. Otherwise, there's nothing else. There's no other news regarding this region. So moving on to the Izyum Front. On the Izyum Front, the Russians, after capturing Pisky Razkivsky, they have started to attack Lozove. So interestingly is the Russian sources, no one have reported about all this until today. And they actually seem to have all the dates. They are even clearer than me about all the dates, but they did not report at all. So it feels like a deliberate withholding of information and intel about this offense. So it's very peculiar, if you ask me. So on the most eastern front, the fall of Crimea is the beginning of this wide front that the Russians are pushing south. So capturing of Crimea helps a lot, and the fighting is now at Zaporizhzhia. Based on the last search, which was around 12 hours ago, there are rumors that Zaporizhzhia has been captured, but I cannot confirm this information. That is just rumors. I don't think it's credible enough for me to update this into a capture. So maybe check out the summary for tomorrow, or quick updates later. Maybe I may report if this is actually captured. So talking about quick updates, I have stopped quick updates for around 1 week to 2 weeks because firstly because of time. Second is because we were holding the YouTube light experiment, right? So because I want to hold the experiment, that's why I cannot post more than one video a day, or the data will be messed up. So that's why I only posted summaries, and I haven't been posting quick updates. But from now on, I will start to post quick updates again. So I think some of you guys prefer quick updates, so that's what I will be doing. And the fighting, of course, is at Liman. Liman is a rather major city here. So this city is rather important because this is actually some kind of a hub around here as well, in the northeast of Sloviansk. And this capturing of Liman would collapse the entire supply line on the northern side of this site. So you can see that if they're going to do resupplying, there's only two roads from Sloviansk, go up northeast, and then go down to Servisk, and then they can go to Severodonetsk and Lysychansk. Otherwise, they have to go down to Bakhmut and then go up again. So the fall of Liman would mean this entire resupply route will be cut off, and then resupplying would take much longer. So if you go by distance, we can see that it's around 60 kilometers. So if you drive at the 60 kilometers per hour pace, you can reach there in an hour. But if the Liman is lost, then the resupply would take much longer, around 1.5 times longer, and you have to travel through Bakhmut. And it's not just about the time taken. It's the longer you are on the road, the more susceptible you are to airstrikes and helicopter intercepts. So it's a very dangerous affair doing resupplying. And so on the east of Kramatorsk, MiG-29 was shot down over Malinivka. This is something new I did not report on the quick update. And talking about planes getting shot down, we have two MiG-29 shot down over Izyum, and there's another MiG-29 shot down over Fedorivka, and another MiG-29 shot down over Zaporizhzhia. So this is 5 different MiG-29s getting shot down. There's a lot of air-to-air fighters, air superiority fighters getting shot down all at once. So this shows two things. Firstly, it's really dangerous to fly on the front line. Second is that actually it's 3 things. Second is the Ukrainians do have a lot of aircraft surprisingly, still. And thirdly is that they are really determined to actually fight this area, try to deter Russian air force from this region. However, this shutdown also kind of crippled. I'm not sure how many MiGs and Sukhois the Ukrainians actually have, because by right, based on pure numbers, they shouldn't have an air force by now. But somehow they are still continuing to field helicopters and fighters, and that is rather puzzling. The question mark continue to be a question mark. From what I've seen is that the Russian source and the Ukrainian source all list Oskil as under the Russian control. I refuse to give in, and I'm gonna just leave it as a question mark until I have further information about Oskil. And so on the south of Izyum, the main battlefront, the Russians are now fanning out from this area where they congregated their forces. Now they are actually fighting at Zaporizhzhia. So this information is coming from the Ukrainian military operational information. So they say the Russians actually conducted reconnaissance by combat. To me, it's just combat. It's just attack. It's just an attack. So fighting is now reported at Zaporizhzhia. They also reported at Dmitrivka as well as Dubrovnik. So Dubrovnik is more significant because to fight at Dubrovnik means that the information that Sulihivka has fallen is now corroborated, because you cannot reach here without taking this position. So now the fighting at Dubrovnik corroborates that Sulihivka has fallen. However, I haven't seen any information that Dohemske is captured. So, and then in a break from so-called tradition, I'm now going to report this air strike. So the Russians often report on airstrikes on vehicles and tanks and artillery positions, whatever. But I think this is more significant because of the location. The Russian Defense Ministry reported that they have destroyed 8 tanks and other armor fighting vehicles, as well as a company of enemy manpower. I have no idea how they count. So anyway, so they say it's at near Pashkovo, Veselo, and Vilishevka. So Vilishevka is actually an old name for Redny. So Redny, so they actually strike Ukrainian positions at Redny, Vesely, as well as Pashkov. So if you look at this direction, this location that the airstrikes are being struck on, this shows very, very clearly where the Russians are heading next. They're going to push this direction towards Bavinkov, and these airstrikes are clear indication that they are softening up the Ukrainian defensive position. So you can see that they don't do airstrikes around here. They're doing airstrikes around here. So Bavinkov is definitely a primary objective now for the Russian forces. And I believe that the forces here that are fighting for Zaporizhzhia, as well as holding a position at Velika Komishupaka, is actually to protect the flank and the rear of the Izyum Front. Because if you capture this position, then you actually break away the only path towards the rear of this entire Izyum Front. So this is a major road that is captured. And this is actually part of the major resupply route from Poltava actually all the way to the Eastern Front. So this road is already broken now, it's useless now, and we are only seeing resupply coming from through Dnipro, the central route, and Dnipro southern road, as well as the Zaporizhzhia road. And now the Zaporizhzhia road is going to be threatened because of this offensive here, and we will definitely have to look out for any changes in the positions around here. But this offense here is going to be rather significant, because this is not the entrenched line that the Ukrainians have prepared for 8 years, which is the Eastern Front here, which is why we are not seeing much of a change in the front line. And then this makeshift one had been holding up pretty well, and then given the time that has passed, I believe the entrenchment here should be rather strong by now. A lot of time has passed for the south of Izyum. So which is why the fighting takes a bit more time now. But given the overwhelming firepower, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see whether the Russians can actually do something different from previously. Whether everyone claiming this is a phase 2 kind of thing, which I do not really buy this kind of thing, because it's just fighting. That doesn't matter phase 1 or 2. So it's just another offensive. So whether this offensive operation will be fought differently, whether firepower will be heavier, we shall see how fast the advance of the Russians will be. Further north, in the Kharkiv Front. On the Kharkiv Front, the Ukrainians have their own their offensive of their own. So they launched a counter-offensive and they captured multiple locations. Some of these captures are dated. That means they are a few days old, because I totally did not see this information earlier. So take a pinch of salt. They have captured this village of Udi. Udi is really close to the border to Russia. And this village, you can see, very beautiful village, look like a hobbit village. And not sure why they are there. If you ask me, it's rather pointless to capture that village. It's totally strategically unimportant. Maybe they just want to feed more people. So then they capture Ruski Taishki and capture Bayraktar. They captured a part of Kutuzivka. So you can see this is from the Ukrainian Armed Forces official Twitter account. They say part of Zutuzivka. Some Ukrainian sources, if you go and Google or search on Twitter, they will say Zutuzivka is actually captured by the Ukrainians, but this is actually a much later tweet, and this from the official source. So they say only part, so I list this as an offense. And then Zaporizhzhia, Malanivka, Labiaje, as well as this Bazalivka. So you can see that they are trying to push out from Kharkiv and try to create a bigger line of defense around Kharkiv. So there are still Russian forces around here, but I think the Russian forces around here is rather thin, because most of them are being put to the front to fight at Izyum. So maybe the Ukrainians are taking this opportunity to actually punch through the thin lines and try to cut off the Russian reinforcement. According to the Ukrainian analysts, they are saying that this push here shows that they are trying to go for the railway lines that goes through Kupiansk, because Kupiansk is the major hub now being used by the Russians for reinforcement and gathering of troops, and for resupply as well. To Kupiansk is that the very, very important city now, and they say that the Ukrainians may actually be trying to reach Kupiansk or trying to cut off any of the railway tracks around here to prevent reinforcement. So the last thing I saw was that the Russians have moved some troops to reinforce the Kupiansk area against this possible incursion. Unsure whether the Ukrainians actually captured Koroboshkin, and whether they kept, because to capture this, then you can actually use the road to go up here. If not, they are going cross country through here. So not sure they have captured these two, this town here, and or whether they will actually fight through the main road to reach Kupiansk, or they're gonna go all the way cross country. So going all the way cross country is not exactly a good idea, but going on the road is also not a good idea. So attacking is not a good idea. I'm talking rubbish. So anyway, on the more non-military side, there is this significant news that the Kharkiv region teachers will be taught to Russian standards. So let me read this Telegram source. Say, teachers from the liberated territories of south of Ukraine and the Kharkiv region, as well as DPR LPR, are planned to be trained to work according to Russian standards for their schools. So the program is already being formed. Classes for teachers are going to be held in the summer in Crimea. So said the head of the republic, I can't remember, I think this is Donetsk Republic. So Sergei Aksyonov. So this analyst say that this means that we will not leave the occupied territory anywhere, and then they will not let Bucha happen again. So if you don't understand, will not let Bucha happen again, is that from the Russian perspective, Bucha is a false flag, and then the people, the poor civilians who died are being used as propaganda tools according to the Russians. So they are not going to do this again. They're going to hold on to the positions that they have captured. So this is what he's trying to say. But the important signal is that Kharkiv teachers are going to be trained just like the people in DPR and LPR, as well as the Kherson and Zaporizhzhia area. So my assessment, because of the rubleization of the currency in the south here, shows that the Russians are going to keep Kherson and the south of Zaporizhzhia for sure. They're going to keep it because they are asking the civilians to use rubles and give up the hryvnia. But this change of currency, I have not observed this at Kharkiv region. However, they wanted to train the teachers to teach Russian education. This is something new, which means that the Russians are now reconsidering whether they want Kharkiv region. So if this is a follow-up with a change in currency, that means they're going to start introducing the rubles into the occupied territory in Kharkiv, then we can be kind of have this educated assessment that the Russians are going to keep Kharkiv region. So what I mean by keeping, there's various ways. They can annex it like Crimea, or they can declare them a People's Republic like DPR, Donetsk Republic, or Luhansk Republic, or they may actually just make them in between or something. So something that is very vague. But we will have to monitor especially the currency part, because introduction of rubles into the economy here is a big deal, because anyone who later get captured by or when the Ukrainians actually recapture this territory and find the civilians with rubles instead of the Ukrainian currency, they're gonna be in deep trouble. And this news comes at the back of, or at the same time, where the Ukrainians are launching this massive offensive in the Kharkiv region. So this actually throws up a lot of question mark whether the Russians are able to follow through with this change in education standard in the Kharkiv region. And and you can see that Kharkiv region is actually rather huge. You can see this dotted line. This entire area is the Kharkiv region. So there is still a lot of land uncaptured by the Russians of the Kharkiv region. So I think this talk about Kharkiv teachers are a bit premature, and especially the Kharkiv city is not captured as well. So take a pinch of salt about this, but it is a signal that we need to take note of, because this would mean that this entire region might be captured. And why stop at there, right? Might as well take Sumy and Chernihiv as well, so that you can cut away Ukraine from the Russian border, and that will actually provide a proper buffer. So anyway, that's the signal that we see from the Kharkiv side. So this is the summary of did I miss anything? Okay, no. So this is the summary for the day of 53 and 54. So for the neutrals, these are very exciting times, because the offensive finally started again, because we have been having a rather boring 1 week or two, because the Russians after withdrawal have not been doing much things. And then for the Ukrainian crowd, they are also can have something to look out for, because this Kharkiv push can be rather disruptive for the Russians. Should they be successful in capturing of maybe Velika Buklok or or Kupiansk, this will mess up the entire reinforcement situation. You can see the main road only go through Kupiansk around here, through to Izyum. So anyway, this is the summary for day 53 and 54. If you are unsubscribed, or you have not subscribed and you have been watching, I highly encourage you to press subscribe. And also for those that you haven't pressed the like button, please nuclear bomb the like button. I need you to do that, because that will help me reach more new viewers. And please do check out all the links in the description. There are Discord, Reddit, Telegram. They are all for different purposes, so you can join all of them, and if you don't like any of them, you just quit. No problem. So anyway, I'll see you in the next update. And oh, I forgot to put the intro. Yeah, so anyway, then if that's the case, I shall end the summary with the intro.